What's up, guys, and welcome back to another training with me, Coulter. I just returned from an agency sales mastery workshop in Portland, Oregon, where we spent a full day diving into agency sales, specifically around life insurance. There was a question from someone that was attending the workshop with us. And he said, Coulter, what advice do you have to those of us that are new to insurance or those of us that haven't had a track record of success selling life insurance? What is your advice to help overcome fear? That was a question I got. And so in this training, I want to go through the role that fear plays in preventing you from getting the results that you want to get. We're going to break it down and really understand what it is behind that fear that's keeping us from having conversations. Like, what in the world are we scared of? What are we fearing? Okay. And so in my experience, being able to take these limiting beliefs, and a limiting belief is going to be any sort of belief, anything that you're telling yourself right now that is preventing you from having life insurance conversations, right? Because you can be given literally the farm where it's like step 1, say this, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. You could be given the process with exactly what to say and how to say it and still not take action, right? The knowledge enough isn't getting you out of your head and into conversations with people. There's some belief, that internal dialogue that is preventing you from taking action in the first place, even though you have everything that you need to do it, right? And so we're going to talk about that, specifically fear, okay? And so when I was asked this question, what advice would you give to those of us that are new or those of us that aren't just selling life insurance like we want to right now, to get over fear, okay? My first response was, what is it that you fear? Ask yourself, if you're a team member listening to this and you're new, or maybe you're tenured and you're just not selling like you want to, or maybe even if you're an agent listening to this, ask yourself this question about your team. Do we know the answer to this question? What is it that I fear, okay? Is it I fear rejection? I fear them telling me, no, Coulter, I don't want that. Is it that I fear not knowing what to say next because maybe I don't know how to sell life insurance? I don't really know how to take the customer from idea to submitting an application, right? Is it I fear them saying yes because I don't actually know how to do the application itself, right? You've got to identify what it is that you fear, okay? Because fear of rejection, the way we attack that and attempt to shatter that limiting belief is going to be different than fear of not knowing how to do the application, okay? So when I asked this question, one of the team members said, you know what, Coulter? It's that I fear them saying yes because I don't know how to do the application. So I was like, my goodness, like that's what's been keeping you from having conversations all this time? And so now that, for this example with this team member, I fear the customer telling me yes because I don't know where to go I don't know how to do the application. That's an easy fix, right? It's something that for this team member has been sitting in his mind for a long time that's kept him out of life insurance conversations. If I remember correctly, he's been doing this like 8 months. So for the last 8 months, he just doesn't know how to do the application, which has kept him from selling life insurance. And so what can he do knowing that he doesn't know how to do the application? That's what's preventing him. That's the fear of not knowing how to do the application has kept him from having life insurance conversations, even though we had the full sales process and from pivot to close exactly how it works. Because he didn't know how to do the application, he wasn't even bringing it up with people. So I said, look, now that you know that you don't know how to do the application, what do you think you can do to get good at the application? And the answer was simple. I need to learn how to do the application. And so I challenged him. I said, look, this doesn't have to take you 8 months. Like, you can take this belief and you can shatter it by just simply over the next 2 weeks, every single day when you get in the office, you run through an application on yourself. Like, you don't have to submit it, but know how to do the application and that fear will be gone, okay? Now, fear of application, like, it's simple. Like, the results that we want are on the other side of the work that we're avoiding, okay? And for this team member, like, he has limited himself because he doesn't, quote unquote, know how to do the application. So he fears the customer or prospect saying yes. Because he has that fear and that limiting belief early on in a conversation with a customer prospect, guess where this team member's confidence level's at? It's not high, it's low because he's worried about them saying yes. See, so think about how that would affect you if you have a fear of the customer saying yes. How do you think you're going to be communicating some sort of conviction and belief to the customer prospect or do you think there's some level of doubt? Okay, because at the end of the day, guys, that's sales in a nutshell. We are communicating belief and conviction or some level of doubt. And if there's something like that, if you have some sort of internal dialogue, I'm afraid of them telling me yes because I don't know how to do the application, you're not going to be very compelling. You're not going to be communicating conviction and belief, but you're going to be communicating some sort of doubt and uncertainty. And when you communicate doubt and uncertainty, your prospects and customers aren't going to buy. They're going to hear it in your voice. They're going to see it in your eyes that you are truly scared. You fear them telling you yes because you don't know how to do the application, okay? But instead of letting this limiting belief take power over you, first define it. Like, what is it that I fear? And if it's fear of not knowing how to do the application, just do the work and learn how to do the application, okay? I don't know where to go next. I don't know, in regards to the application, I don't know how to do the application. The fix is learn how to do the application. Literally for the next week or two, every single day you get in the office, go through an application on yourself. Competence will lead you to confidence, okay? And that's just an easy fix. Don't let that limiting belief keep you out of the life insurance production that you know you're capable of. Okay, so fear of not knowing how to do the application, easy fix. Okay, another one is fear of rejection. Okay, I would encourage you to ask yourself if you feel like, yeah, Coulter, I just don't really want to be told no. I don't want to feel like I'm rejected, okay? What I want you to do is I want to come to this whiteboard and I want you to reframe this for yourself, okay? Think thinking about sales in this way that I'm about to teach you will help you prevent feeling like you have this fear of rejection, okay? Because if we fear rejection, we're thinking about sales in some way. We're really attached to the result, okay? But what we want to, and let's just think about that. When we're attached to the result, when, I have courage to talk to someone about life insurance and I'm attached to that result, think about, I guess let me ask you, do you feel, if I'm really attached to the result, do you feel like that's going to be communicated to the customer or prospect in some way? For sure. Right? I might come across as needy. I might come across as desperate. Like I am attached to the result. I'm attached to what, you telling me yes or no, okay? You set yourself up to be discouraged and for the customer to not want to do business with you because they don't want to be sold to. No one likes that needy, desperate salesperson, okay? And so number one is we got to detach from the sell altogether, right? Marry the process, divorce the results. Just focus on what you can control and focus on inputs. Don't worry about the outputs, okay? And I think one way to work on that upstream and fix our mindset is, right here I wrote, I'm selling. If that's the mindset that you have, of course you're gonna be attached to the results, right? I'm selling. I make money when people buy, when I actually sell stuff. And when you think about that, you're attaching to the result. So if they don't buy, guess what? Guess how you're gonna feel? You're gonna feel discouraged. Guess what that's gonna do to your confidence? It's gonna take it down because they told me no, I did what I can control, and I didn't sell the policy, Coulter. Who cares? You're not gonna sell all of them, but if you wanna be consistent in this thing, you've gotta go from an I'm selling mindset, okay? And instead, you'll want to develop the mindset of I'm helping, okay? It's not sales, it's help, okay? You're helping people. All right, real quick, exciting news. We finally have the Win the Week weekly planners available for insurance team members. If you're in a sales position and you're in the insurance industry, I want you to know you've got unlimited things that you can do every single week, but you've got a limited resource of time. So what you choose to work on matters. My question is, are you using strategy or are you just flying by the seat of your pants hoping that you hit your goals, hoping that you end up working on the right things? Listen, if you want to get to that next level, if you want to sell more policies than you ever thought possible, if you want to make more money and have that bigger, fatter paycheck, start planning out your weeks. Take time every day, set aside to review your last week, hold yourself accountable, stop waiting for your agent to do that and just do it, right? Be proactive with your accountability, but then also make plans, make adjustments along the way so that you make sure that you're spending your time the best way, the most effective and efficient way possible, and you will work on the right things. And when you work on the right things, you'll start to sell more. So again, Win the Week weekly planner for team members is available. Check the comments below for a link to purchase, and we'll get you back to the training. Stop worrying about selling people and start worrying about helping people. Because when you have the mindset that I'm helping people, it's no longer about making the sell. It's about the prospect. It's about the customer. And when you can think of it that way and you can approach your conversations in that way, that you're not selling, but you're helping people, that's when you really are able to actually just detach from the result. It's no longer about the results. And when you can detach in that way from the results, you become very compelling in your conversation. You become very neutral. And so the sales resistance stays down in a conversation because the customer prospect, they don't even feel like they're being sold to, okay? Because when they feel like they're being sold to, when they feel that pressure from you and they feel that your desperation, whether it's in how you're saying things or it's in what you're saying, they feel that desperation, they're going to put their wall up. Their guard goes up. And really, no matter what you're saying, if they feel like they're being sold to, they're not gonna want to buy from you, okay? And so up front, get it upstream, like reframe sales from I'm selling people to I'm helping people. And that should help you detach from the result. And I think when you can detach from the result, rejection it's not one of those things that's gonna affect you, right? And really just focus in on the inputs. What can you control? Can you control if you bring up a life insurance with a customer prospect? Yes. Can you control if they tell you yes or no? So understanding that from the get-go and understanding that, like, look, I don't have control over a piece of this thing will allow you to detach from the result. And all of a sudden, you maybe don't have this fear of rejection like you did before. Or maybe it's at a smaller degree, okay? And so fear of rejection, another thing to keep in mind is they're not rejecting you. They're not telling you no. They're just telling you no to the product or service that you're offering them. And I would even dig a little bit deeper and understand that they're not even telling the product or service no. It's just they don't actually understand yet. Or maybe they don't actually feel like that they need it. And maybe they don't need it. And that's up to you as the advisor to figure out and help them understand, number one, is there a problem here? Is there a gap in your financial future? But number two is maybe there's not. Maybe there's not a gap. Maybe they already have it taken care of, okay? But can you see when you approach it with this frame of like, I'm helping people, not trying to sell people, it changes things for you. Okay, and they're not telling, they maybe just don't understand, or maybe they actually just don't need it, okay? And the question is how do I really overcome this fear of rejection? And I think a big piece to this is just competence. Learning what to say and when to say it will lead you to confidence in what you do, right? So competence is going to lead to that confidence, which will help you with the fear of rejection, okay? Because, and I think that leads to another angle of this is, why do I have this fear? I don't really know how to sell this thing. Yeah, I can bring up life insurance with people, but I don't really know enough about selling it to know how to move through objections or how to answer their questions because I just don't know about it. One easy fix is to know about it, learn about it. And that's what we do in the team member perspective is we help team members just like you, just like your team members, gain the competence, the knowledge of what to say, how to answer people's questions, and how to help the customer prospect think differently about their financial life, help them identify a problem, right, in their financial future, and help them come to a conclusion that, yeah, this actually is a problem. I never thought of it that way. And then your solution to get life insurance carries a lot of weight. Like, that knowledge and that competence will lead you to a lot of confidence. And you will be able to shatter this limiting belief of not knowing enough, right? You don't know enough about how to sell it, and that there's a fear there. And so, yeah, you can start the conversation, but you don't know where to take the conversation next. That the fix is you learn where to take the conversation next. And I would hope that you're learning from people that have had a track record of success, people that have done it or are doing it. For me as a team member, going from 10 life apps a year to 123 the next, that was the biggest thing that allowed me to get into that production, was learning what was already working for people just like me to get the results that I wanted to get. Because writing 10 life apps a year, it wasn't working for me. And so, yeah, of course there's some fear there, right? I just don't know how to do this. And so, yeah, I can start the conversation, but I don't know where to take it next. I don't know how to advance the sell forward. And so what happened is, yeah, like it may have kept me out of some conversations, but when I learned where to take that conversation next, I began to have confidence. And so that fear became minimal. Whereas before, maybe it was a little bit bigger, okay? And so competence will always lead you to confidence, which will allow you to have these conversations confidently and not have this fear of not knowing what to say next be just sitting in your mind, okay? So learning how to do it will help you with that fear of not knowing how to do it. It's that simple. But you got to get around people that are doing it and learn from them. Learn what's working, learn, how they're getting into the conversation and how they're moving that conversation forward, advancing that sell forward. And what if I get an objection, Coulter? We train on that. We can teach you what questions to ask and help your customers think differently, right? About their current situation and help them understand and see if there is a problem, what that problem is, and help them understand it's maybe a bigger problem than you thought it was. And when you help them understand that and they see that they have this problem, they're feeling this fear of future pain, your solution to get life insurance carries a lot of weight. And again, now we're going from I'm selling people to I'm actually trying to help you. And that's what we train on. And so I'd encourage you, get around these top producers that are making it happen, and you'll learn, which will allow you to move through these fears that you have in your mind. Okay, what else here? Okay, the other thing is a couple things to end. If you're thinking about what's everything that could go wrong if I bring up life insurance, and you're thinking, I don't know how to answer these questions, I don't know how to do the application, I don't know what to say to these certain things. Instead of thinking about it like that, flip it. Well, what could go right here? If I just have the conversation, what could possibly go right here? And as you start thinking about it that way, it helps you focus on possibility and not problem, okay? So flip it. Instead of what could go wrong, what could go right here? Okay, and then after you have defined what this fear is it the fear of rejection? Is it the fear of not knowing how to do the application? Is it the fear of not knowing how to sell life insurance? Once you define what that fear is for you, the next thing is to have a plan, set a goal. What is your goal? And again, with your goal, focus on inputs. What can I control on a daily basis that if I just do that long enough and consistent enough, number one, I'm going to learn, I'm going to get better. But number two, the law of large numbers states that I'm just going to sell more policies. You need to set a goal. What is something you can do every day that will get you closer to selling more life insurance? And once you set that goal, make a plan of how you're going to execute on that goal. And in that plan, outside of how you're going to execute, how are you going to remind yourself? What is the accountability system that will make sure that you actually do it and it actually gets done, rather than, oh yeah, I have this cool plan and this goals, but you just try it and then you forget about it and you're back doing what you're normally doing and what you're used to doing, okay? It's in your plan, what's the execution, right? What are you going to do to actually get closer to this goal? You got your daily goal, your daily activity goal of what you're shooting for, but then the plan is how am I going to execute on it? And that could include, what do I say in my pivots? And after that, what if I get these objections? Again, that's where that competence comes from, but just make it simple. Lean into that activity, make some sort of a plan, and just go out and hit your daily activity goal. And I feel that when you can do that, and when you say, you know what, this is what I need to do every single day. I'm going to talk to 6 people about life insurance. I'm going to initiate a life insurance conversation with 6 people a day. There's your goal. And your plan is, here's where I'm going to do it. I'm talking to a lot of customers that are calling in to pay their bills and calling in to change addresses. Maybe I'm going to talk to those people about life insurance. Maybe another piece of your plan is I'm going to run these lists, or I'm going to talk to new business. I'm going to hold these onboarding appointments. Make a plan and then just go out and execute that plan. And what happens is, even though you don't know enough, even though you don't know everything, when you lean in to just putting the inputs in every day, finding a way to initiate 6 life insurance conversations with 6 different people, what happens is you're going to learn very quickly. You're going to learn where the next bottleneck is, if there is one, which will allow you to now learn, what do I need to train on? What do I need to get more competent in so I can have even more confidence and be more compelling in my conversations? You're going to learn those places, right? But then after that is, you're also going to probably sell some policies in the meantime, right? But again, if you can just focus in on the inputs, what you have control over, and dial in there and really learn and have the mindset of I'm helping people, not I'm selling people. If you can just do that and do that consistently, you are going to win. It's going to start to happen for you, or you're going to give up before you do. So again, identify what fear it is. What's your fear? Set a goal, a daily activity goal of what you can do every day that you can control, and make a plan and go out and execute. And if you want to take it to a whole new level, get around people that are already having success, that have a track record of success, and learn from them. And that will just pour gas onto this fire. And before you know it, you're going to be writing 10, 15, 20 life insurance applications every single month with over $100,000 in annual submitted life premium. I mean, imagine what that would do for you. But again, you could know everything in the world. You could have the farm, you could have the recipe, the step-by-step recipe. And if you have this limiting belief of fear, of whatever it is, you gotta define that. If you have this limiting belief of fear, you may not even try to use this recipe. Even though it's like, it literally will work for you, but if you have this fear, it's gonna keep you out of conversation. So shatter that fear, shatter that limiting belief, and see what happens. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you in the next one.